as we go to air tonight, the latest news we have out of Israel and Iran is that Israel has launched a number of attacks this evening on Iran. They've included the Evin prison. They've also hit a number of other targets, including airports. You can see on the screen there a statement from the IDF. This was 2 hours ago, saying that they've struck 6 regime airports across western, central and eastern Iran, destroying runways, underground hangars, refuelling aircraft, F-14, F-5 and AH-1 aircraft. The destroyed aircraft were meant to stop AIF jets. The AIF impaired takeoff capabilities from these airports, as well as the Iranian military's ability to operate its air force from them. And a statement we have just moments ago from Israel Defence Minister Israel Katz saying that the IDF is currently striking with unprecedented force, he says, regime targets and governmental repression bodies in the heart of Tehran. They include the Basij headquarters, the Evin prison for political prisoners, which is in Tehran, an area of Tehran, and regime opponents. They've hit the destruction of Israel Clock in Palestine Square, which had been there since 2017, the internal security headquarters of the Revolutionary Guards, the ideology headquarters and other regime targets. So if there's any more to tell you, we will as the night wears on, but that's the latest out of Israel and Iran. So, of course, no end to what is going on there and plenty more to come. And that will be the question now is, where do Iran go from here, having now been attacked by the US in that extraordinary attack, of course, you saw yesterday? 125 US aircraft involved in that bunker-busting effort, hitting 3 nuclear enrichment sites. So for Iran, they have to decide now how they react. In some way, they have to react. They have to retaliate, because, of course, it would be the end of the regime if they didn't retaliate in some way. So they have to show some sign of strength. The question will be, Freya, though, what exactly do they hit and why? Because you've got the option, perhaps, of getting your mates who might be in the US, who, terror cells, etc., to do something there, or you could attack a US base in the Middle East, and there are many of them. I think we've got a map we can show you on the screen here. But if they do that, the US is going to respond hammer and tongs. Yeah. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place as to how they actually react to this.
For sure. Iran definitely has to respond because the domestic pressure they're under to save the regime is profound. Also, the Ayatollah is 86 years old. He's almost at the end of his life. Inherent in their ideology is a glorification of martyrdom and a willingness to die for the Islamic regime.
That's the map, by the way, on screen of all the US air bases and military bases in the Middle East.
So they need to do something. They want to do something. The Ayatollah has consistently said any compromise with the West is opening the door to moral decay and will ultimately weaken Iran. So I think it's not a question of whether they do something. It's about what they do. As you said, they have a few options. They have, after the head of the IRGC was assassinated by the US in 2020, they did attempt a few high-level assassinations. On Mike Pompeo was one of the US officials they tried to target, but the US thwarted all of them. So I really do question their ability to actually carry out such a high-level assassination within the US. That seems less likely, although we have been warned of terror cells being activated. So we'll see. In terms of the actions their proxies could take, think Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. I mean, Hezbollah, half of them don't have eyes, legs after the pager incident. They're still severely weakened. They've been put on notice by Israel and by the Lebanese government as well not to get involved. Hamas is useless. They're completely caught up fighting Israel. And the Houthis they can launch missiles, but against the US's air defense systems, they're basically powerless. So I don't think their proxies will be much help. The last sort of option available to them is to shut off the Strait of Hormuz. That would be obviously huge for the world. 20% of our oil goes through there. But I don't know if that is going to have great consequences for them either, because China is reliant for half of its oil coming from the Strait of Hormuz. China is a key backer of Iran. Iran would not want to get them offside. And what it would also do is probably realign Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries closer with the West, because they will see this as also hurting them. So when you look at the options available to Iran right now, basically every single one of them is a suicide mission in and of themselves. And that is kind of the position the regime is now in. They have no good options. They've been completely annihilated by a country 80 times smaller than them in the space of about 7 days. And the world overestimated how powerful they were.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Iran is utterly friendless. Like, in terms of, you know, the geopolitical kid in the playground, Iran is the bully who everybody hates and who someone has now finally stood up to, and they've been found to be absolutely weak. I think you're absolutely right. I was about to say myself, and you nailed it, Freya, saying that it's actually not a matter of what assuming that the regime wants to survive, I think is the wrong assumption. It's a matter of what sort of pain and damage and suffering is the regime capable of inflicting, because this is an eschatological, this is a doomsday cult basically that's running Iran. It believes in a confrontation between, the pure and the infidels, and it wants that war. I mean, all it's been doing for its entire existence is been trying to provoke that war. It's now got it, and it basically wants an excuse to unleash. And again, there is no prospect for the regime, I don't think, really surviving in any meaningful way. But all its proxies are screwed. Hamas is done. The IRCG has the Iranian military, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. All their leadership has been taken out. Their head of intelligence has been taken out. All their air and missile capabilities, it seems, pretty much have been severely crippled. Their nuclear capability, if we're to believe the US, and there's no real reason why you wouldn't, has been completely destroyed. And everybody hates them, including all their neighbours and their own people. I mean, this is an Arabic leadership that rules over a Persian population with the most oppressive. I mean, the last thing Iran did in relation to its restrictions on women was just last year. It ratcheted them up.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just old-fashioned, it's Stone Age and it's staying there. It is Stone Age, and it is trying to get further back into the primordial swamp from where these people came from. So its own neighbours will turn on it at the slightest provocation. Its own people will turn on it at the slightest provocation. It has the two smartest and biggest military forces, respectively, going after it in the form of Israel and the US. And it's the only thing you could possibly call an ally are either the terrorist groups that it is the source of funding. So without Iran, Hezbollah and Hamas are even more weakened. Or Russia, which is in the middle of suffering in the same way that Iran is from the same types of methods from a smarter, more agile and more technologically advanced opponent. And as a result of that, Russia has no capacity to help out Iran. Its only other ally was Syria, who's as the al-Assad's just ended up in a sort of Colonel Gaddafi-esque kind of situation, except I think they escaped without the sort of the bayonet up the backside. So where is Iran? I mean, and the other thing, sorry, one more thing. They say they're going to unleash this wave of terror in response. With what? Literally, you and what I mean. All the terrorists are Sunnis. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Jamaat Islamiyah, Boko Haram, all these extremist terror network, they're all Sunnis. The only thing they hate more than the West is Iran.
Yeah,